Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Greta Garbo, 1905 to 1990, was one of the most iconic and enigmatic figures in cinema history, a star whose beauty, talent, and mystique defined Hollywood's golden age. Born Greta Lovisa Gustafsson in Stockholm, Sweden, she grew up in a working-class family and displayed a reserved, introspective personality from an early age. Her quiet demeanor and striking features made her stand out, and after working as a sales clerk, she gained attention when she appeared in a Swedish department store catalog, which led her to modeling and later to acting. Garbo trained at the Royal Dramatic Theatre in Stockholm, where her natural talent for subtle, emotionally expressive acting was quickly recognized. Swedish director Mauritz Stiller became her mentor, casting her in the 1924 silent film The Saga of Gösta Berling. It was this performance that attracted the attention of MGM, which brought her to Hollywood in 1925. Initially marketed for her exotic European allure, Garbo soon became an international sensation. During the silent era, Garbo starred in films like Flesh and the Devil, 1926, and Love, 1927, often paired with John Gilbert, with whom she also had a famous real-life romance. Her ability to project intense passion and emotion with minimal gestures made her stand out in an era dominated by more theatrical acting styles. When sound arrived, many stars struggled, but Garbo thrived. Her husky, accented voice became an asset, and her first talkie, Anna Christie, 1930, was marketed with the tagline, "Garbo Talks." The film was a success and earned her an Academy Award nomination. Throughout the 1930s, she starred in a string of critically acclaimed and commercially successful films, including Mata Hari, 1931, Grand Hotel, 1932, Queen Christina, 1933, Anna Karenina, 1935, Camille, 1936, and Ninotchka, 1939. Ninotchka, directed by Ernst Lubitsch, was particularly notable as it showcased her in a rare comedic role, introduced with the playful slogan, "Garbo Laughs." Despite her fame, Garbo remained intensely private, avoiding the Hollywood social scene and rarely granting interviews. She was known for her reclusive personality and her oft-quoted desire to be alone, which added to her mysterious image. In 1941, after the failure of Two-Faced Woman, she retired from acting at the age of 36. Unlike many stars who faded into obscurity, her early retirement only strengthened her legend, as she never returned to the screen. For the rest of her life, Garbo lived quietly, primarily in New York City, where she enjoyed long walks, art collecting, and travel. Though often pursued by photographers and the press, she guarded her privacy fiercely. She never married, though she had several close relationships with both men and women, fueling decades of speculation about her private life. Greta Garbo passed away in 1990 at the age of 84, leaving behind a legacy as one of cinema's greatest actresses. Her combination of screen magnetism, emotional subtlety, and reclusive mystique has kept her a symbol of Hollywood glamour and an enduring figure of fascination. Early life in Sweden. Greta Lovisa Gustafsson was born on September 18, 1905 in Stockholm, the youngest of 3 children in a modest family. Her father, a janitor, died when she was 14, which left the family struggling financially. Garbo dropped out of school and began working as a sales clerk and later as a hat model. Her photogenic looks caught attention, leading to opportunities in advertising films and eventually to an interest in acting. She enrolled in the Royal Dramatic Theatre School, where her intensity and screen presence quickly made her stand out. Rise to stardom in Hollywood when she was brought to the U.S. by MGM in the mid-1920s. The studio initially worried that her unconventional beauty, strong jawline, shadowed eyes, and solemn demeanor might not appeal to American audiences. Instead, she became one of their biggest stars almost overnight. Her silent films established her as an actress capable of portraying deep passion without a single word. When sound arrived, she made a seamless transition, thanks to her unique, slightly husky voice. Unlike many of her peers, Garbo's career actually flourished in the sound era. She earned 4 Academy Award nominations for Anna Christie, 1930, Romance, 1930, Camille, 1936, Ninotchka, 1939, in 1954. She received an honorary Oscar for her unforgettable screen performances. Acting style and screen presence. Garbo was known for her subtle, inward-focused acting style. She avoided the exaggerated gestures common in silent films, instead using small, intimate expressions, downcast eyes, a slight smile, a slow turn of the head, that conveyed volumes of emotion. Her characters often embodied mystery, tragedy, and sensuality, making her an ideal figure for melodrama and romance. Directors and co-stars frequently commented on her intensity. She had an unusual ability to hold the camera, commanding attention even when silent or still. Film critic Pauline Kael later said Garbo had something behind the face. Something going on inside that you couldn't quite see, which made her endlessly fascinating to audiences. Personal life and relationships. Garbo's private life was a source of constant speculation. She never married, despite high-profile romances. Her most famous love affair was with actor John Gilbert, her frequent co-star. Though they were reportedly engaged, she broke it off, reinforcing her reputation for independence and emotional distance. She was rumored to have had relationships with both men and women, including playwright Mercedes de Acosta and actress Louise Brooks. Garbo never publicly acknowledged her sexuality, and her refusal to be defined by Hollywood norms made her a pioneer in her own way. Her notorious phrase, "I want to be alone," uttered by her character in Grand Hotel, 1932, was widely associated with her real-life personality. Though she later clarified, "I never said I want to be alone. I only said I want to be let alone." There is a world of difference. The line became inseparable from her image. Retirement and later years. Garbo retired from acting in 1941, after Two-Faced Woman received poor reviews. She was only 36. Unlike many stars who attempted comebacks, she never returned to film. Despite offers from major directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Luchino Visconti, her decision to walk away while still in her prime deepened her aura of mystery. For the rest of her life, she lived mainly in New York City, leading a quiet existence. She enjoyed painting, gardening, and art collecting, and she often traveled under assumed names to avoid publicity. She kept friendships with a small, trusted circle and rarely spoke publicly about her film career. Death and legacy. Greta Garbo died on April 15, 1990, in New York, at age 84. She was buried in her native Sweden. By then, she had become not just a film star, but a cultural symbol of elegance, independence, and enigma. Her legacy continues. She is often ranked among the greatest actresses in film history. She influenced generations of performers with her naturalistic acting style. Her life of guarded privacy made her a template for stars who resisted Hollywood's machinery. She remains one of cinema's most enduring icons, remembered as much for what she represented, mystery, allure, and independence, as for her unforgettable screen performances. Clapperboard career highlights and iconic roles. Garbo's career spanned only about 20 years, but within that time, she created a body of work that became the blueprint for screen acting. Some of her most defining films include Flesh and the Devil, 1926, a silent classic with John Gilbert, famous for their electric chemistry. Their on-screen love mirrored their off-screen romance. Anna Christie, 1930, her sound debut, heavily advertised with the line, "Garbo talks." Her smoky voice stunned audiences and silenced critics who doubted she could transition into talkies. Mata Hari, 1931, she played the infamous spy with an intoxicating mix of sensuality and mystery, solidifying her image as the ultimate femme fatale. Grand Hotel, 1932, featuring an all-star cast, Joan Crawford, John Barrymore, Lionel Barrymore, Garbo's portrayal of the lonely ballerina Gruzinskaya produced her most quoted line. "I want to be alone." Queen Christina, 1933, a landmark film where she played the Swedish monarch with regal authority and striking androgyny. The final shot of her face, full of unreadable emotion, is considered one of cinema's greatest close-ups. Camille, 1936, perhaps her finest performance, as the tragic courtesan Marguerite Gautier. Many critics consider it one of the greatest romantic performances ever put on screen. Ninotchka, 1939, a rare comedy for Garbo, directed by Ernst Lubitsch. MGM famously promoted it with "Garbo Laughs," and the film showed a playful, witty side to her otherwise serious screen persona. After Two-Faced Woman, 1941, which flopped critically, she withdrew from film forever. Rose's personality and philosophy of life. Garbo was famously private, but from the fragments left behind by friends, letters, and diaries, we glimpse a woman of contradictions. Independent but lonely, she longed for solitude yet maintained close, sometimes intense friendships. Romantic yet detached, she was capable of deep passion, but often pulled away before commitments solidified. Playful in private, friends noted that despite her somber image, she could be funny, mischievous, and even childlike. Disdain for fame, she often said she never liked being a star, remarking, "If you are blessed, whether you are a shoemaker or an actress. What you do is immaterial." She had a distrust of Hollywood's machinery and preferred to keep her real self hidden. This philosophy of guarding her inner life became almost prophetic in a world where stars were expected to reveal everything. Black heart, private life, and rumored affairs. Garbo's relationships fascinated the public. John Gilbert, her great love, though she refused marriage. She reportedly left him at the altar. Mercedes de Acosta, a Spanish-American writer, widely believed to have been her lover. Their correspondence was sealed for decades, fueling speculation about Garbo's bisexuality. Other rumors: she was linked to Leopold Stokowski, Cecil Beaton, and Marlene Dietrich, though she never confirmed nor denied anything. Her refusal to define herself gave her power. In an age when Hollywood controlled every star's image, Garbo wrote her own story by withholding. Globe cultural impact and legacy. Greta Garbo is more than just a star of the 1930s, she became a cultural archetype. The enigmatic star, her retreat from fame while still at her peak turned her into a myth. A feminist icon, she lived life on her own terms, rejecting marriage, children, and Hollywood's control. Embodying a form of independence rare for women of her era. Influence on fashion and art, her androgynous style, particularly in Queen Christina, influenced generations of fashion designers, photographers, and performers. Enduring symbol of mystery, her face, with its sculpted cheekbones and searching eyes, remains one of the most recognizable in film history. Even today, Garbo is often invoked when describing elusive, magnetic figures. Her name has become shorthand for mystery and allure. Sparkle's final years. In her later decades, Garbo became almost a ghost-like figure in Manhattan. She could sometimes be spotted walking the streets in oversized sunglasses, avoiding recognition. Yet she still fascinated everyone who caught sight of her. She lived quietly, investing wisely, and left behind a vast fortune. When she died in 1990, she was mourned not just as an actress, but as the embodiment of a certain kind of old Hollywood glamour, one that has never been replicated. Mantelpiece Clock: A Chronological Journey Through Her Career. Sweden, 1920 to 1925, started with small roles in advertisements and short films in Stockholm. Mentored by Mauritz Stiller, the renowned Swedish director who gave her her breakthrough in the Saga of Gösta Berling, 1924. Stiller was instrumental in shaping her as Garbo, teaching her how to move for the camera and projecting an aura of mystery. Silent Hollywood, 1926 to 1929, MGM signed her and transformed her into a sensation. Torrent, 1926, marked her U.S. debut. Films like Flesh and the Devil, 1926, and Love, 1927, paired her with John Gilbert, solidifying her as a romantic goddess. Transition to talkies, 1930, Anna Christie stunned critics with her voice, low, husky, European, unlike anyone else in Hollywood. It earned her her first Oscar nomination. She balanced tragic romances, Romance, Mata Hari, Susan Lennox, with roles of regal command. Peak stardom, 1932 to 1939, Grand Hotel, 1932, her ballerina role became immortal thanks to I Want to Be Alone. Queen Christina, 1933, she infused the role with personal ambiguity and independence, famously kissing a female character on the lips, a bold move for its time. Anna Karenina, 1935, her Russian heroine was praised for both elegance and tragedy. Camille, 1936, widely considered her masterpiece, critics hailed her performance as near perfection. Ninotchka, 1939, her first, and only major, comedy, proving she could be witty and charming. Final film, 1941, Two-Faced Woman flopped critically. MGM mishandled the film, trying to mold Garbo into a conventional romantic comedy star. She hated the experience and walked away. Heartbreak: The enigma of her private life. Garbo's refusal to marry or conform fascinated the world. John Gilbert, their romance was legendary, but Garbo backed out of marrying him. Some say she feared losing her independence. Mercedes de Acosta, their letters reveal intimacy, admiration, and possible romance. Garbo destroyed many personal documents, but surviving correspondence suggests deep affection. Other rumored partners: fashion photographer Cecil Beaton, who adored her, conductor Leopold Stokowski, and actress Marlene Dietrich. Their alleged rivalry, romance remains debated. She seemed to live by the principle of emotional freedom, never binding herself too tightly to anyone. Sunglasses: The recluse in New York. After retiring, Garbo moved to New York City, living in a luxury apartment near the East River. She often took long solitary walks, dressed in oversized coats, scarves, and sunglasses, evading attention. Paparazzi stalked her constantly, but she never gave interviews or returned to acting. Her neighbors often saw her grocery shopping or walking in Central Park, the divine Garbo, living as an ordinary woman. She remained financially comfortable, thanks to savvy investments, especially in art and real estate. Globe symbolism and influence. Garbo wasn't just an actress, she became a symbol, the eternal mystery. By leaving Hollywood at her peak, she became untouchable. Her myth was never diluted by bad films or a faded career. A feminist precursor, long before it was common, she defied expectations, refusing marriage, refusing Hollywood's publicity machine, and living life on her own terms. Fashion and style: her minimalist clothing, trousers, coats, hats, influenced women's fashion worldwide. Designers like Yves Saint Laurent and Karl Lagerfeld often cited her as inspiration. Queer icon, her rumored relationships with women and androgynous style gave her lasting significance in LGBTQ+ culture. Artistic muse, Salvador Dali painted her, Andy Warhol idolized her, and countless photographers sought to capture her enigmatic aura. Candle final years and passing. In her later years, Garbo became increasingly reclusive, though she stayed close with a few friends. She never returned to Sweden permanently, but in 1999, nearly a decade after her death, her ashes were interred at Skogskyrkogården Cemetery in Stockholm. Greta Garbo died on April 15, 1990. At age 84, from pneumonia and
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.